Welcome. Now we listen, we breathe, and we begin to drift. There is nothing to change, nothing to fix. Only this moment, just for you. This moment is quiet. It holds your breath, your peace, and your imagination. Tonight we'll travel far. Beyond the veil of time to a land of ancient wonder, to the place once called Babylon, to the legendary Hanging Gardens, a place that may or may not have existed, but always lives in the dreamscape of the heart. Before we begin, I invite you to slow down, not only your body, but your thoughts. Let your back settle into the bed. Take a deep breath in and offer this night to the soft, silent corners of your mind. Very soon you'll feel the grass beneath your feet. You'll see the drifting clouds, the gentle golden sun, and maybe you'll sense a breeze that traveled across centuries to find you. Here. Now everything is ready. And if you are too, then let us begin. Time is not a line, but more like a leaf resting on the surface of a quiet lake, still and filled with gentle ripples. Tonight, you are that leaf, and together we'll travel through the circles it creates. Close your eyes softly. You don't need your vision to see where we're going, because tonight I'm not taking you into a dream. I'm guiding you into a memory of something ancient. Maybe never real, but always known somewhere deep within you. Though your body rests here in this moment, your mind now stands at the edge of another time. A time where footsteps make no sound, where wind speaks in whispers, and time itself doesn't walk. It simply breathes. Take a moment now and focus gently on your breath. Inhale slowly and let it go just as softly. With every breath, you become a little lighter. Your shoulders soften, your hands sink deeper into the bed. Your heart begins to slow. It's as if you're slipping gently from this world into a softer reality, one that lives outside of clocks and inside of you. There is now an open space before you. But it isn't a room. There is no ceiling above, only sky, endless blue sky. And in that sky, thin clouds drift like silk. Time seems to melt as you look up at them. The sun hasn't yet set. It hangs somewhere between afternoon and evening, coloring the sky with a warm amber hue. Beneath your bare feet is no floor, but grass, cool, velvety, and gently damp. Walking on it feels like moving through the breath of the earth itself. With each step, you feel a faint vibration, as if the ground is welcoming you, whispering, "You've arrived." As you walk, the green beneath your feet begins to shift in color. Now lemon lime, now deep emerald, as though the grass reflects not only nature but the feelings inside you. With every step, you enter further into this place and deeper into yourself. A bird calls out, high in the distance, not urgent, just the soft sound of something waking, not morning, but something like it, another kind of dawn. And you are its quiet observer. The sun's rays touch your skin, warm but never burning, gentle, not blinding, like a memory you had forgotten, but one that has never forgotten you. A breeze stirs, not strong but certain. It brushes your cheeks with a delicate hand, and somehow it feels ancient, as if it has traveled all this way to greet you here and now. There is no time here, only sensation, the scent of the earth, the melody of the wind, and a peace rising softly within you. Breathe in again. This time notice the fragrance in the air. There is something sweet, fresh, perhaps the scent of fruit just picked, or flowers that bloom without asking. Mint, lavender, maybe a touch of thyme. None of them overpowering, but all of them dancing together like notes in a quiet song. And you are the only listener. This is your orchestra, your garden, your journey. Now slowly lift your gaze. The sky is still there, but something is different. The sun has softened and its light seems to be calling to you, as if to say, if you are ready, let us begin. Take one last deep breath, and with it, release everything you've been carrying. The weariness, the noise, the questions. Let them fall into the grass. Let the earth receive them. You only need to move forward now, because just ahead, the garden awaits. That suspended paradise is waiting for you. Imagine now that you are standing in the very heart of the ancient world. The air is still warm from the sun's early journey across the sky, and in this golden light, the hanging gardens of Babylon come into view, as if they've risen from a dream. Beneath your feet, the grass is luminous, a blend of lime green and soft chartreuse. It glistens in the afternoon glow, like emerald dust scattered across the earth. The sky above stretches wide, a sapphire blue canvas brushed gently with long, delicate clouds. The sun rests behind one of them now, its orange gold light filtered through the haze, wrapping everything in a quiet warmth. Though it feels like late afternoon, the birds sing as if the day is just beginning. Perhaps they've just awakened, stretching their wings in the peace of the garden. Their voices float through the air like ribbons of music. The light on your skin is comforting, not heavy but enveloping, as if the sun knows your name and welcomes you with every golden ray. A soft breeze begins to move, dancing lightly across your arms and face. It carries with it the scent of nature, the sweetness of fresh fruits, the fragrance of flowers in bloom. You inhale gently, and with each breath, you are filled with the feeling of life. There is a soft undercurrent of mint in the air, a whisper of lavender, the woodiness of tall trees, and the grounding presence of herbs that seem to speak directly to your spirit. And somewhere in the distance you catch the scent of the river, not just the water itself, but everything it carries. The breeze lifts the delicate perfume of water hyacinths, which smell like crisp apples kissed by sunlight. It's as if the world has opened just for you, every color more vivid, every sound more serene. This is not just a garden. It is a memory made of light, a breath woven from the threads of time. You are not merely standing here, you are being embraced by the moment. The earth beneath you is soft, the air above you is alive, and the garden is ready to be explored. Let yourself be still, even if only for a moment longer. Let this vision wash over you. Let it root itself in your heart, because the journey through this wondrous place is just beginning. Take a step forward now. The garden breathes with you. It's alive not only with color, but with scent, sound, and warmth. This is not a place you simply observe. It is a place you feel. With each breath in, you draw in a symphony of fragrances. The air is thick with sweetness, yet it never overwhelms. It dances gently across your senses, as if each note of scent was chosen just for you. There's the light citrus of crushed herbs beneath your feet, the whisper of lavender from a distant patch of purple blooms, a warm trace of rosemary tucked somewhere nearby. Each breath uncovers another layer. Mint, freshly plucked figs, something deeper, the woody scent of tree bark kissed by the sun. It all blends together, not in chaos, but in harmony, like a garden orchestra playing a quiet piece of music. Just for this moment, you close your eyes and feel it even more. The sun is still on your skin, warming your shoulders, your cheeks, the tips of your fingers. It brings with it not just heat, but comfort, like the soft hand of a dear friend placed lightly on your back. A soft breeze winds its way through the garden. You feel it at your ankles first, then across your arms, and finally at your neck and face. It carries with it more than temperature. It brings memories of distant places, whispers of orchards and wildflower fields. You wonder if perhaps it passed over the hills of Media, where the queen once walked, longing for home. Even the earth seems to speak. The path beneath your feet is made of golden stones, cool and smooth to the touch. The crunch of petals under your steps is like a soft, steady drumbeat. You notice some are purple, perhaps fallen from a nearby hyacinth. Others are red-brown, oval-shaped, dates that have ripened and fallen like nature's confetti. You pause beside a palm tree. Its trunk is tall, patterned, and textured, wearing its years like proud jewelry. A gust of wind passes through, and several dates fall gently to the ground beside you. You kneel, pick one up. It's warm from the sun, plump, glossy, the color of deep maroon. You lift it slowly to your face. Breathe in its scent. It's sweet, like honey and caramel, but softer, almost shy. You take a bite, and time disappears. The flavor is soft and rich, nothing like a dried fruit. It's alive with the warmth of the day, the energy of the earth, the joy of being fully present. The leaves above you rustle, the palm fronds sway like dancers in the wind. Their sound is gentle, rhythmic. You listen closely. It sounds like your breath, like the rhythm of calm. There is no rush here, no need to go anywhere or do anything. The garden offers you a single invitation: to be, to feel, to receive. Let the scents linger, let the warmth settle, let the breeze carry your thoughts away. Here, in this sacred space between memory and imagination, you are safe, you are whole, and the garden is just beginning to open its heart to you. As you wander deeper into the garden, you begin to sense something new, a presence beyond leaves and flowers, beyond fragrance and light. It's the sound that reaches you first, not loud, not calling, but present, a gentle murmur, like a soft voice at the edge of your attention. You pause, you listen. There it is again, a steady, rippling hush, the language of water. You follow it, drawn by curiosity and calm. The garden parts slowly, revealing a glimmer between tall trees and curling vines. And then you see it, a ribbon of turquoise weaving its way beyond the garden's edge. The Euphrates. It moves like a dream across the landscape, its surface kissed by sunlight. Pale gold glimmers flicker in waves, as if the river wears a crown made of stars. The scent in the air shifts. You breathe in something clearer now, crisper. The breeze carries the river's perfume, sweet water laced with floral traces. There's a note of water hyacinth, a bloom soft and elegant, smelling faintly of green apples. It's delicate but unforgettable, and as you breathe it in, it feels like clarity itself, like waking without effort, like remembering something you never realized you'd forgotten. You take a step closer. The sound of the water grows but never rushes. It is peaceful in its persistence, like a lullaby hummed by the earth. The river doesn't demand attention. It simply exists, moving through time as it has for thousands of years, watching empires rise and fade, carrying the secrets of countless hearts. Your eyes drift along its path. The far bank is lined with grass as green as gemstone. There are soft hills rising beyond, and somewhere in the distance the outline of the old city. But here, right here, it's just you and the river, and the quiet that flows between you. You kneel at the edge, not to touch the water, not yet, but to be near it, to feel its presence with your whole being. The breeze brushes past you again, and you close your eyes. In this moment, you become part of the garden, not a visitor, but a thread in its ancient fabric. And the river recognizes you. The breeze fades for a moment, and in its stillness something shifts. You sense the garden becoming more than a garden, more than a place of beauty. It is becoming memory. It is becoming history. And with that, a quiet doorway opens in your mind. You walk through it, not with your feet, but with your attention, your breath, your wonder. Now time begins to unfold backwards, like silk unrolling across the floor of the mind. You're no longer here, not exactly. You are there. 2,500 years ago, in the southern reaches of ancient Mesopotamia, Babylon, a name that has echoed through the centuries, carved into tablets, whispered in scrolls, written in holy books. A city of unmatched grandeur shaped by the hands of kings and dreamed into myth by the minds of poets. And now you are walking its paths, not as a stranger, but as one who remembers. The streets are wide and sun-drenched. Stone beneath your feet has been worn smooth by time, and yet it feels new to you, as if it has waited for your steps. To your left, a wall of deep terracotta rises, carved with symbols you do not understand but somehow recognize. To your right, the tops of trees peek out above stone terraces. You hear the soft splash of water, the echo of it traveling through chambers and gardens. You follow that sound. The scent of the air is no longer only garden sweet. It's layered now. You can smell sandalwood and clay, the burning oil of temple lamps, and something like cinnamon carried from a distant market. The past has a fragrance, and here you are breathing it in. Around a bend in the path, the view opens. You stop. Before you rises a structure, not a palace, not a fortress, but something different. A living monument, the hanging gardens, but not as you imagined. They are not only beautiful, they are impossible. The kind of wonder that quiets the breath and fills the heart with something unnameable. Massive stone columns soar toward the sky, each one carved and glazed in colors that defy the passage of time. Some shine cobalt blue, inlaid with gold mosaics depicting animals, bulls, lions, birds, each shimmering as if caught in sunlight forever. Others are softer in hue, the shade of desert sand. Against these, vines spill downward like emerald curtains, dangling from terrace to terrace, dancing slightly in the breeze. The entire structure rises in layers, a wedding cake of nature and stone. From where you stand, it appears as if the earth itself has reached upward, pulling its roots into the sky. You walk slowly toward the base. The stones underfoot shift from garden to architecture, though even here nature has claimed its place. Petals are scattered along the path, some freshly fallen, some pressed like forgotten memories into the cracks between stones. Palm trees grow in perfect rhythm around the perimeter. Their trunks are tall and spiraled, their fronds wide and feathery, casting gentle shadows on the walls. And the sound you heard earlier, the water, is louder now. Not a river, but something carefully built. You glimpse a channel carved through stone, guiding water upward, not downward as nature would have it, but up against gravity, against expectation. You remember stories of ancient engineers, of aqueducts and water screws, turning endlessly to to lift the river to the sky. And here is the result: a mountain of greenery rising from the plain. You walk beneath an archway at the base, cool air touching your skin. The inside of the garden is dim, lit by flickering torchlight. The smell here is darker: damp moss, wet stone, and the faint sweetness of distant blossoms. It is not quiet, but it is peaceful. You can hear the dripping of water, the low hum of bees and flowers somewhere above, and the distant flute of birds calling from the open terraces. You wander slowly, as though your feet know the path. Each step forward feels like a return, not a discovery. Here you are not visiting history, you are walking inside it, wrapped in its shadows, illuminated by its beauty. A staircase comes into view, its sides tiled in gold and red. You place your hand on the banister. It's cool to the touch and smooth like glass. You begin to ascend, drawn upward by more than curiosity. Sunlight pours in from above. As you rise, the garden rises with you. The second level opens like a hidden world. Bushes bloom along stone walkways, flowers nod in the breeze, and potted trees reach toward the sky. A fountain sings in the center, its water catching the light and casting it across the columns in silver ripples. You are standing in the center of the ancient world, and it is alive. Not just remembered, not just imagined, but living, breathing, waiting for someone like you to walk its paths once more. And so you do. Let us pause here, among the sunlit stones and the vines that curl across old walls, and let us ask, did this place ever truly exist? Were the hanging gardens real, or are they simply the most beautiful dream the ancient world ever told? The truth is, no one knows for certain. And perhaps that is part of the magic. We have no ruins, no definitive texts, not a single seed, unearthed and named. All that remains are whispers, secondhand stories, fragments of parchment, echoes written centuries after the fact. But the echoes are loud, loud enough to have traveled through time, to reach us now. And perhaps that's all they ever needed to be. Greek and Roman writers told of tiered gardens, of lush terraces suspended in the air, of a paradise built to honor a homesick queen. Some say it was Nebuchadnezzar who built it for his wife from the mountains of Media. Others say nothing at all. Babylonian texts make no mention. The very people who lived in this land did not write about such gardens, at least not in the records we have found. And yet, they live in memory, in myth, in you. There are even those who believe the gardens never stood in Babylon at all, but rather further north, in the ancient city of Nineveh. There, a different king, Sennacherib, built a vast system of aqueducts, water screws, and channels that carried the river up to the hills, a feat of engineering so breathtaking that its very presence might have inspired the legends we know. Maybe the scribes confused the cities. Maybe travelers, centuries later, merged two wonders into one. Or maybe there were gardens in both places, each magnificent in its own way. But there is something more important than whether or not they existed. There is the fact that we still imagine them, we still feel them, we still walk through them in our dreams. What does it mean that something never proven can still feel so real? It means there are truths that live beyond fact. Truths of beauty, of longing, of memory carried into the body like a scent, in the breath like a song. The hanging gardens may not have stood where we say they did. They may never have existed in brick or mortar, in stone or soil. But they exist now, here, in your mind. in the images behind your closed eyes, in the feelings this story has planted softly in your chest. You are walking through a myth, but it doesn't feel untrue. It feels familiar, as if it had always been there, waiting for you to arrive. Maybe that's the real wonder. Not the columns, not the fountains, but the possibility itself, that something imagined long ago can still be touched tonight by you. So take a moment here. Let the mystery settle over you like a soft shawl. Feel the space where history and dream wrap around each other. This is not a question to be solved. It is a door to be opened. And you have stepped through. Now, let your gaze drift upward, slowly, gently, as if you're watching the sky itself unfold. And what you see rising before you is not just a building. It is a marvel, a harmony of stone and sunlight, a monument grown from the dreams of men and the hands of nature. This is not architecture in the way we know it. This is architecture that breathes. Massive pillars rise from the earth, their bases as thick as trees, their heights stretching beyond imagination. At first glance, they appear uniform, but as you look closer, you see stories carved into their surface. The lowest columns are glazed in cobalt blue, a deep royal shade that mirrors the sky above. Laid into their sides are shimmering mosaics, animals of power and grace, lions mid-stride, birds in flight, bulls poised in stillness. They shine with copper and gold, catching the sun and sending it dancing across the garden floor. As the structure rises, the tiers shift in color, from blue to the soft beige of desert stone. The higher you look, the more nature takes over. Vines pour down in slow waterfalls, like green silk unraveling from heaven. They hang between the columns, swaying softly, each leaf catching light as if it were a jewel. The terraces rise in perfect rhythm, one atop the next, each slightly smaller than the last, like a staircase carved into the sky, or the petals of a flower opening in slow motion. From below, the entire building seems to hum, not with sound, but with presence. A silent reverence that fills the air and settles gently in your chest. You step closer, and the coolness of the stone meets the warmth of the garden. Petals are scattered along the walkway, tiny splashes of color against the pale path. Some are carried by the breeze, others have fallen where they bloomed, undisturbed and perfect. As you move through the arches at the base of the structure, you pass into shadow. But it's not the kind of shadow that hides. It holds, like a quiet room inside a temple, inviting you to breathe slower, to notice more. You glance up again and realize the building seems even taller from within. Its columns soar above you, framing the sky in slices of gold and green. Everything here is balance, stone and vine, sunlight and shade, engineering and wonder. It's easy to forget, looking at this place, that human hands built it, that once someone imagined this exact shape, this exact harmony. And perhaps that's the true miracle. Not the size of the stones or the scale of the terraces, but the vision itself. To build beauty not for utility, not for power, but simply to bring the mountains to the plains, to remind someone of home, to plant paradise in the heart of a city. That intention still lives in every leaf, every arch, every shimmer of mosaic glass. You don't just see it, you feel it. It moves through the columns like wind. It stirs in the shadows. It settles beside your heart. You are standing in the middle of a wonder, not because it is ancient, but because it was born from love. And here, that love still grows. Now you find yourself walking once again, but slower than before. Your steps are matched to the rhythm of the trees, to the hush of leaves in the air, to the stillness between sounds. You are under the shade of tall date palms. Their trunks rise like columns, each patterned in ovals and ridges, as if they were carved by time itself. Their bark is rough but not harsh, more like woven texture than stone, and the scent that surrounds them is warm, earthy, and gently sweet. It's the smell of fruit ripening under the sun, of wood warmed by a quiet afternoon. Above, their fronds stretch outward like fans, casting shadows across the path in intricate, moving shapes. The light that filters through feels soft, not dim, but golden, like sunlight remembered in a dream. You stop for a moment beneath one of them. The breeze stirs again, and the sound of rustling fronds echoes softly around you. It's not just sound, it's sensation, like your breath gently moving in and out. At the base of one tree, you notice something scattered. Dates, fallen naturally, resting on the ground like tiny gifts. They are plump and oval, ranging in color from amber to mahogany. Their skin is wrinkled but glowing. They catch the light like glass. You kneel beside them. Your hand brushes over one. It's warm to the touch, soft, yielding. You pick it up, bring it slowly to your face. Its scent is subtle, a note of sweetness with something deeper underneath. Perhaps caramel, perhaps sun, perhaps time. You take a small bite. The flavor surprises you. Not sugary, not heavy, but light, balanced, fresh. It feels like you're tasting the garden itself. Its warmth, its patience, its quiet generosity. As you stand, another gust of wind moves through. 3 or 4 more dates drop gently to the ground, landing in the grass with a soft, rustling thump. There's no urgency to gather them. This place offers without asking, and you are simply here to receive. Walking again, you notice how the palms form a quiet canopy, lining a path that leads you further inside. Their shadows flicker on the ground like moving lace. Occasionally, a cluster of petals drifts by. Lavender, pale yellow, a touch of deep rose. Everything here feels placed with care, and yet nothing seems planned. It is the kind of beauty that can only come from surrender. The garden leads. You follow, and beneath the date palms, time slows again. Not because it must, but because it can. The path unfolds beneath your feet, not suddenly, but softly, like something ancient that was always there, waiting to be seen. Stone stretches ahead, not cold or sharp, but sun-warmed, smooth as river-washed pebbles. Each step echoes faintly, a hush of sound that fades almost as soon as it begins. It's not footsteps you hear, but a quiet rhythm, like the slow turning of time. On both sides of the path, palm trees stand in quiet honor. They rise like sentinels, framing your walk with silent strength. Their shadows stretch long, their trunks worn and beautiful. At your feet, petals are scattered, as if the garden has decided to decorate your journey. They lie in no particular pattern, but every placement feels deliberate. There are purple petals, likely from a water hyacinth, their color deep and royal, softened by the dust of the stones. Beside them rest brown ovals, dates fallen gently from the trees, gathered in clusters, still warm from the afternoon sun. The breeze stirs them softly. Some petals dance forward, as if guiding your way. The dates roll slightly in place, their weight reminding you that even here, gravity still whispers. You walk slowly. There's no need to hurry. Every detail is here for you to notice. The way light flickers on the path, how tiny shadows hide in the cracks, the scent of crushed herbs beneath your step. Then something changes, subtle at first. The sound of your footsteps deepens, the light shifts. You realize you are passing under something. Above you, arched stone begins to appear. Pillars. Open spaces between them form natural doorways, inviting you into the heart of the garden. Each pillar is wide and strong, their bases resting firmly in the earth. They do not enclose you. They welcome you. There are no walls, only frames, and within those frames, you catch glimpses of green. Trailing vines climb along the stone, some in full bloom. Tiny white flowers, blue blossoms with pale edges. You don't know their names, but you know their presence. They carry the scent of calm, sweet and slightly musky, like jasmine at dusk. As you pass one of the columns, you notice a break in the stonework, a space where the wall ends and the garden begins again. And beyond it, a stretch of water. You glimpse it only briefly, a pool, white and luminous in the soft afternoon sun. Its surface shimmers with ripples that dance like silver thread. But you don't go to it yet. Not now. There's more to see, more to feel. So you continue walking. Each pillar leads to the next, and each shadow invites you inward. It's not darkness, but depth, a kind of peaceful twilight that lives between the outer world and the one within. You are no longer just walking on stone. You are walking through memory, through myth, through stillness. The garden doesn't speak aloud, but it listens. And the path beneath your feet, the petals, the stones, the spaces between, they hold the echo of everything you've brought with you, and everything you're ready to let go. And now your steps slow further, not from fatigue, but from reverence. The air has changed. You can feel it, cooler, darker, more inward. The path narrows slightly and the pillars grow closer together. Above you, a ceiling begins to form, high, vaulted, and carved from stone that still holds the warmth of the day. You've crossed a threshold, but there is no door, just a feeling, a deepening, as if the garden has turned inward to show you something sacred. Inside, the light grows dim, not heavy or suffocating, but soft, like candlelight behind silk. The space here is vast but silent. The echoes of the outside world fall away. Even the birds seem to have quieted, their songs tucked gently into the corners. Torches line the inside of the columns. Terracotta bowls hold flickering flames, each one dancing in rhythm, casting shadows that sway across the floor. Their glow is golden and low, never glaring, never rushed. You notice the scent has shifted. Where once there was lavender and fig, now there is earth and stone. Cool, mineral, ancient. But not empty. It smells like time. Slow, patient time. The kind that doesn't pass, but gathers. You walk between the columns, your footsteps nearly silent on the tiled floor. The tiles are arranged in geometric shapes, each edge aligning perfectly as if no hand had ever touched them, as if they had grown this way. In the spaces between the pillars, there are glimpses of smaller rooms. Archways lead into shadowed chambers, some holding statues, others only silence. You pass one such arch, and then another. Within one, you glimpse a shallow tub filled with rose petals, pale pink, deep red, floating gently in still water. Another chamber reveals a sculpture, a face illuminated by torchlight, eyes closed as if lost in prayer. And then, a butterfly. It flutters in from somewhere unseen, drawn to a bloom, resting in a nearby pot. Its wings barely make a sound, but they carry color with them: blue, violet, gold. A second later, a bee hums by, slow and steady, not in search of work, but as if simply moving with the breath of the garden. You continue walking, not knowing where the path leads and not needing to. Here, everything opens inward. There is no rush, no destination, only space, only quiet. It is strange and beautiful to be inside a structure, a building of carved stone, and yet still feel so connected to nature, as though the garden has followed you and trailing behind you like a memory that refuses to be left outside. And maybe it has. Maybe the garden is not a place, but a presence, and it walks beside you still. You breathe in slowly. The air is cool against your throat, calming as it moves through your chest. You exhale softly, and the world around you seems to settle. There is no need for sound. The quiet here is a voice in itself, a voice that says, "Welcome, stay as long as you like." From the quiet of the inner chambers, your eyes lift, not toward a wall or another archway, but toward light, a warm, golden glow streaming down from above. And there, you see it, a staircase, steady, symmetrical, as though carved by the breath of time itself. It rises gently, not steep, but sure. The steps are wide and even, made of stone so smooth it gleams in the low torchlight like polished marble. On either side, a pair of tiled banisters reach upward, their surface lined with mosaics, gold and red triangles intertwined like ancient constellations, twinkling in the light with a quiet shimmer. You place your hand on the rail, cool to the touch, grounding, real, and then you take a step. The first one is slow, intentional, like the start of a sacred climb. The air shifts around you, grows brighter, sweeter. A few steps more and you feel it against your face. Sunlight. It filters down through an opening at the top of the staircase, casting a long beam across the wall. Dust floats within it, tiny particles drifting like stars in liquid gold. As you climb, each step feels lighter, not because your body is stronger, but because the light ahead is calling to you, and something in you is answering. You notice how your breath has changed, deeper, slower, as though your lungs, like the stairs, are moving toward air that has been waiting. The higher you go, the more alive everything becomes. The torchlight dims behind you, replaced by the hush of sunlight falling on ancient stone. A gentle breeze meets you as you near the top, cool, carrying the scent of something fresh. Eucalyptus, perhaps, mint, or maybe something older still, like the memory of mountains tucked away in the corners of the wind. The final step takes you beneath an archway open to the sky, and there you arrive on the upper terrace. It stretches out before you like a garden in the clouds. Golden tiles form a path along the edge, lined with flowering plants and low bushes, their leaves bright with sun and dew. To your left, a row of palms sways gently in the breeze. To your right, a second set of columns rises, holding up the next tier, a promise of beauty still to come. But here, on this level, is space, open air, golden light, and peace. The view looks out beyond the garden. You can see the Euphrates in the distance, ribboning across the land, like a story yet to be told. And closer still, a pool of water glows white under the sun, its surface caught in shimmering ripples. Everything sparkles, everything breathes, and you, having climbed from shadow into light, stand in stillness, not to catch your breath, but to honor it. This moment is a pause, a breath between journeys, a quiet reward. And above you, another terrace waits. not to be conquered, but to be welcomed. But for now, you are here, bathed in sunlight, cradled in quiet, exactly where you need to be. You step softly onto the balcony. The stone beneath your feet is warm, bathed in sunlight that's golden but not harsh, more like honey spilled across the earth. All around you, life unfurls in quiet color. Bushes with glossy leaves, trees with delicate branches, flower beds arranged not in lines but in gentle waves like the patterns of a slow-moving breeze. This terrace feels different. Not grand, not ornate, but peaceful, open. It's as if the garden here is breathing with you, in rhythm, in silence, in trust. To your left, the path curves gently beside the outer edge. There, trees lean out just slightly, as if watching the world below. To your right, rows of golden pillars rise, each one supporting the floor above. Vines trail down from their tops, soft green threads of life dangling like quiet laughter. The shade beneath the columns is cooler, still holding the hush of the stone chamber below. But here in the terrace air, the wind returns, light, refreshing, tickling at your clothes and brushing across your skin. You pause and listen. There is no music, and yet the breeze makes one. In the rustle of leaves, in the sway of hanging petals, in the faint clink of vine against pillar. It's not a melody you can hum, but you feel it. A rhythm that matches your breath, a harmony written in stillness. As you walk, your fingers drift across the leaves. They're soft, some waxy, some like velvet, each texture grounding you, bringing you deeper into the now. Then, a glimpse of the inner garden. Between the columns, you see another level of green, a sunken courtyard wrapped in shadow and bloom. And in the center, a fountain. It trickles softly, barely audible, but constant. Water glides down smooth stone, spilling into a basin lined with mosaic tiles. Reds, turquoise, deep greens like forest light. You move toward the edge. The view opens, and there it is, the Euphrates. From up here it looks softer, wider, its surface glinting with flashes of silver blue. The river curves through the land like a thread drawn by an unseen hand, and beyond it the distant outline of ancient Babylon. Low buildings, arched windows, and here and there a shimmer of gold from rooftops or spires. But the city is quiet, as if it too is resting, watching, remembering. You turn back to the terrace. In one corner, a cluster of cushions rests beneath an overhanging tree. The fabric is deep red, soft as velvet, placed in a circle as though waiting for someone to come and sit. To pause, to be. You move slowly toward them, passing flowering vines and the trailing arms of olive trees. You reach out, pluck a single grape from a hanging vine. Its skin is firm, its shape round and perfect. You bring it to your lips, take a small bite, sweet, cool, alive. You sit among the cushions. The shade falls around you, dappled with sunlight that filters through leaves above. You lean back and breathe. The garden moves on without you. Soft winds, shifting shadows, a bird's distant cry. But you are still. You are held. And in this moment, on this terrace, in this story of stone and bloom, you have everything you need. You rest quietly for a moment, nestled among the soft cushions, your breath rising and falling with the rhythm of the garden. And then, a sound. Distant, gentle, but unmistakable. Falling water. It begins as a whisper, a hush in the background, like a memory surfacing from somewhere deep within you. You open your eyes slowly. The sun is still warm across your legs. The breeze still moves gently through your hair, but now there's a rhythm in the air, a melody of water meeting stone. You rise without urgency. Your body feels weightless, carried by curiosity, drawn by the sound. You step between two golden columns, each one laced with vines that tremble slightly in the wind. The sound grows louder but never harsh. It pulses like a heartbeat, steady, calming, eternal. And then you see it. Beyond a curtain of leaves and blossoms, a waterfall, not grand or towering, but elegant. A narrow stream pouring gently from above, falling in a silken sheet into a pool that glows with soft light. The water splashes delicately, ripples spiraling out across the surface, then calming again into stillness. Mist rises from where the water meets the basin, catching the sunlight and the particles of gold. It drifts like breath, soft and glowing, spinning through the air in slow motion. You walk closer. The sound surrounds you now, a veil of falling water, soothing every corner of your mind. Behind the cascade, the world blurs. The garden becomes a watercolor, its shapes softened by the liquid lens. And still you feel no need to move quickly. Here, time flows like the water, unhurried, unbroken, kind. Around the pool, more cushions are placed, their fabric faded by sunlight, edges curling just slightly like leaves resting in the shade. You lower yourself onto one, sinking into its quiet support. The coolness of the stone beneath you balances the warmth still resting on your skin. The sound of the waterfall is constant, yet never repetitive. Each drop a note, each splash a breath. It doesn't speak, but it says everything. That you can rest now, that nothing is required of you. The peace isn't something you have to chase. It's already here, in the sound, in the space, in the soft stillness between each drop. You close your eyes again, and you listen, not just with your ears, but with your whole being. The breath of the water, the heartbeat of the earth, the silence behind the sound. All of it holds you. All of it invites you to surrender. You linger a little longer by the waterfall. Its voice, steady and tender, still echoes gently inside you. The mist clings to your skin like memory, cool and luminous, as if you had been touched by light. But something stirs within you now, a gentle pull, not urgency, but invitation. And so you rise. Your movements are slower, softer than before. Not because you are tired, but because everything here asks for reverence. You step back from the pool, past the veil of water, into a corridor of filtered sunlight and dancing leaves. The sounds of the falling water begin to soften behind you, replaced once again by the hush of garden air. Then you see it. Another staircase, tucked gently into the corner of the terrace, partially hidden beneath the overhang of a flowering vine. It's quieter than the first, more modest, more inward. Its steps are carved from a stone the color of honeyed sand, each one edged with a subtle pattern, interlocking lines like woven thread. The banister is simpler now, a single handrail tiled in soft gold and dusky red. It curves upward as if lifting towards something you can't yet see. You approach slowly. One hand reaches for the rail. It feels warm beneath your fingers, as if the stone remembers the touch of sun, and you begin to climb. The air here feels different, cooler, not from shade but from height, as if each step lifts you not only higher but deeper into stillness. Your legs move easily, each step an echo of breath. You're not climbing to reach a place. You're ascending to meet a part of yourself that's been waiting. Halfway up, you pause, The world behind you feels further now, not in distance, but in weight. Everything you've touched, everything you've heard, seems to settle gently below, as if the garden itself is holding it for you. You look up. Above, sunlight spills through a gap in the ceiling, golden, thin, like a thread sewn into the sky, and you keep going. As you rise, the sounds change again. The rustle of leaves becomes crisper. Birdsong returns, not loud but clear, as if carried on higher winds. And then a new scent, cool and sharp, not sweet but fresh. Eucalyptus, perhaps, or mint brushed by the breath of mountains. You inhale it deeply. It stirs something bright inside you, awakens a part of your body that had fallen into rest, but not to disturb, only to remind that you are alive. That breath is presence. That presence is peace. Your hands brush against the tiled railing as you climb the last few steps. Your eyes trace the edges of the mosaic. Small triangles of gold and red, interspersed with green like leaves caught in light. The final step is wider than the rest. It opens into a small platform, bathed in sunlight and bordered by low stone walls wrapped in flowering vines. You step into the light and exhale. The terrace above greets you in silence, not the absence of sound, but the fullness of quiet. It is smaller than the one below, more intimate, more still. Here the garden feels closer to the sky. The trees are shorter, the shrubs more compact. But the light is everywhere. It falls across pale stones that shimmer with warmth. It glows on the surface of nearby leaves, making them appear nearly translucent. You walk slowly across the space. Each footfall is soft, measured. To your right, a stone bench rests beneath a fig tree. Its fruit hangs heavy, purple and round, like tiny lanterns. To your left, an almond tree sways in the breeze, its fruit not yet ripe, still green but full of promise. And ahead, a golden statue, a bull, its surface polished and gleaming, not fierce but noble, a symbol of strength, fertility, and stillness. You stand before it for a moment, feeling its presence, not to worship, but to honor. Because here, on this high place, where earth and sky seem to meet, you are not above the garden. You are inside it, part of it. The wind moves gently around you, circling like a quiet embrace. It brushes your skin, your clothes, your hair, and you let it. You let go of the climb. You let go of the height. You let go of the need to go further. You are here, and here is enough. You take another slow step forward. The air is different here, thinner, perhaps, not in breath, but in presence, as if this place exists not entirely in the world, but somewhere between earth and sky. The garden has risen with you, but now it feels still, like the top of a long-held breath, quiet, suspended, sacred. And then you see it, the tree. It stands at the very center of the upper terrace, its trunk wide and knotted, its roots spiraling outward as though they've grown through stone and memory alike. It is not a tree you recognize, not olive or fig, nor palm or cedar, but something older, something more complete. Its bark is the color of warm amber, textured like woven cloth. It twists gently upward, reaching, not in haste, but in grace, and above its canopy spreads like a great open hand. Leaves shimmer in the light, each one a different shade of green, some pale and golden, others deep as pine. Where sunlight touches them, they glow, not reflect, but glow, as if they hold the sun inside them, wearing its warmth like a shawl over their shoulders. You move toward the tree, your steps silent now, not because the garden has quieted, but because you have. At the base of the tree, more cushions await, soft, deep red, like velvet folded over itself. Some are pressed against the roots, others lie scattered like petals, waiting to be noticed. You lower yourself onto one, your body folding into stillness. The stone beneath is warm, but the air is cool, a perfect balance, effortless. The breeze is gentle here, no longer curious, no longer playful, but caring. It passes through the branches above you, making the leaves rustle, not like paper, but like fabric, like silk being stirred. You lean back, let your shoulders rest, your spine melt, your hands open, your breath deepen, and you look up. Through the branches, you see the sky. It is vast, not because it is large, but because it feels endless. Clouds drift slowly, as if they too are resting. The sunlight spills through the leaves, landing on your face in shifting patches of gold. It doesn't burn. It holds, like memory, like prayer. You close your eyes, and the world begins to fade, not into darkness, but into peace. You still hear the leaves, still feel the air, still taste the sweetness of grapes and dates and water in the back of your memory. But none of it asks for attention. It simply stays with you. Time moves differently here, not forward, not backward. It just breathes. You breathe with it. And in this breath, everything is whole. You are no longer a visitor to this garden. You are part of it as much as the tree, the stone, the breeze, the roots beneath you hold you, the leaves above you bless you. The silence within you welcomes you home. This, you realize, is not the end of a journey. It is a return to stillness, to softness, to something that has always been with you, quietly, faithfully, patiently waiting. And now you are here, not just in the garden, but in the peace that lives within it. The tree rustles again, a whisper through its branches, as if it knows, and you let go, not in sadness, not in sleep, but in surrender. You open your eyes slowly, but nothing feels rushed. You're still resting beneath the tree, the one that wears sunlight like a robe of golden light. Everything is still, but from where you sit now, you notice something new, not movement, but space. A widening of the world around you. You shift slightly, just enough to turn your gaze beyond the edge of the terrace. And there, spread out in the distance below, is the city, Babylon. But it's not what you expected. It is not loud, it is not busy, it does not rush or shout. It rests like you. The buildings below are small now, almost fragile in their stillness. Roofs shimmer faintly in the late afternoon light, terracotta and gold and pale sun-washed stone. Narrow alleys twist gently between homes, like soft rivers flowing through clay. The river, too, is visible, the Euphrates, curling across the land in a long, quiet arc. Its surface reflects the sun, not in glare, but in softness, like light remembered in water. From up here you hear nothing of the city, no footsteps, no voices, just the hush of wind moving past your ears and the occasional sigh of a branch above. This silence is not empty, it is full of everything that doesn't need to be said. You feel as though you've stepped out of time, not into the future nor the past, but into a moment that has always existed. A breath the earth has been holding just for you. You watch the light change. It shifts slowly, from bright gold to a softer amber tone. Shadows stretch long across the terrace stones, and the air cools slightly, though not enough to disturb. Far below, the city begins to glow as torches are lit. Tiny flickers of orange appear along walls and courtyards, not in rows, not uniform, just scattered like fireflies, waking up in the dusk. And above, the sky, still open, still wide. You look up once more from the top of this sacred place, and the sky greets you, blue fading into lavender, clouds thinned to whispers. There are no stars yet, but you feel them, waiting behind the light, patient, kind. You sit a little straighter, not to adjust, but to honor the view. The city below, the sky above, and you perfectly placed between them. There's a strange beauty in being high above the world, but not separate from it, in knowing it's still there, living, breathing, beating, but for this moment letting you go. There's no pressure here, no need to name what you see or understand what you feel. You are simply witnessing, being, and this stillness you found, this sacred hush, isn't something the garden gave you. It was already inside you. The garden just helped you remember. The light has changed. You don't notice it all at once. It shifts slowly, like a quiet thought moving across the surface of the mind. The golden warmth that bathed the terrace has softened. The air has cooled, not suddenly but gently, like a silk cloth draped across your shoulders. The sky above you, once blue and open, has deepened. It is now a soft indigo, like ink spilled in water. Clouds are no longer visible, only layers of color folding into each other. And there, in the dimming glow, something flickers, a single star, then another. Not bright, not bold, but patient, as if the sky itself is taking a slow breath and the stars are opening their eyes. You stay seated beneath the great tree. Its branches are still, its leaves darkening as the light retreats. But even in shadow, they hold a soft shimmer, echoes of the sun they wore all day. The cushions beneath you cradle your body. The stone beneath them still holds a bit of the day's warmth, and the breeze that moves now carries the scent of night, cool earth, dry herbs, a trace of smoke from a distant torch. The garden is quiet but not asleep. You sense it listening, not just to the world, but to you, to your breath, to your stillness, to your presence. The sounds that do remain are gentler now, a faint rustle in the trees, the soft splash of water far below, and now a new sound, barely there, a note, a pluck of string, music. Somewhere far below from within the city, a musician plays. You can't see them, but the sound rises slowly like incense on evening air. It's a simple melody, just a few notes spaced widely apart. Each one hovers, lingers, then fades. You imagine a harp, or something like it, strung with silk, played with patience. The music doesn't fill the garden. It visits, touches, moves through the space like a memory finding its way back home. You breathe in deeply, letting the music melt into your chest. It doesn't ask you to follow it. It simply joins you right where you are. And above, the stars multiply. One by one, they emerge, never rushing, never crowding. The sky becomes a quiet gathering, a gentle constellation of light and hush. No pattern to solve, no meaning to decode, just presence. Soft illumination in a sky that remembers. You look up and your eyes adjust. Now you can see the full spread. A canvas of stars, each with its own breath, its own name, its own silence. They don't compete with the day. They don't replace the sun. They wait. And when the moment comes, they rise. You remain still, held by stone, cradled by air, surrounded by stars. The garden, the terrace, the sky. They are no longer separate. They have folded into one another like a lullaby you didn't know you remembered. And your body, so calm, so quiet, has begun to float in the warmth of it all. Sleep does not pull you, it invites you. The stars, the wind, the music, they guide you gently to the doorway of dreams, and you know deep in your being that when you cross through, the garden will come with you. You remain still, not from effort but from ease. Your breath moves quietly within you, gentle, rhythmic, like the slow rise and fall of a tide that no longer rushes. Above, the sky has fully turned. There is no more golden light, no more echo of the sun, only stars and the velvet dark they live in. The tree beside you is silent. Its branches have settled, its leaves now blend with the night, still catching starlight but no longer reaching, as if even it has closed its eyes. The garden, which once pulsed with color and scent, has softened into shadow, not lost but at peace. Everything has found its place, and so have you. You shift slightly on the cushions beneath you. They yield like cloud, offering no resistance. The stone below holds a quiet warmth, like something remembered from long ago. Familiar, soothing, true. The breeze that moves now is barely a breeze. It brushes across your cheek, no colder than a sigh, carrying with it nothing but stillness. Your hands rest where they fell. Your shoulders have released their weight. Even your jaw has softened. There is nothing left to hold, nothing left to carry. And above, a star winks just once, not as a sign, not as a message, but as presence. You don't count the stars, you don't name them. You simply let them exist, where they are, how they are. Like thoughts, like dreams, they appear and drift without need for direction. You imagine what it might be to sleep beneath them. Not in a bed, not in a room, but here, open to the sky, wrapped in this gentle night. No roof, no walls, only you, the garden, and the rhythm of rest. You wonder how many souls before you have laid beneath this same sky, in different places and different times, all watching stars emerge from the same great hush. You feel connected, not to the past, but to a presence beyond time, as though rest is something shared through centuries. A small bird calls in the distance, not a song, but a single note, as if to say, I'm here too. The sound doesn't linger. It arrives and it goes, like breath, like sleep. And now your eyes begin to close, not from effort, not from choice, but from gravity softening around you. The darkness behind your eyelids is not empty. It is deep, expansive, comforting. You are no longer watching the stars, you are among them, floating in a space made of warmth and stillness. There is no need to think, no story to finish, no question waiting for an answer. Just the quiet hum of being, the peace that rises when all else has settled. Somewhere in the garden, water still flows. Somewhere in the distance, a torch still flickers. But here, in this breath, there is only one thing left to do: to rest, to surrender, to let the night hold you like it always has. And you do. You let go, not downward, but inward, into softness, into silence, into sleep. Sleep is close now. It doesn't arrive with a sound. It doesn't knock or whisper your name. It comes like a tide, slow, steady, reaching inward. And somewhere beneath the quiet of your mind, you begin to feel it, a current, gentle but constant, like water moving far below the surface, unseen but always present. You aren't standing beside the river now. You are floating above it, or within it. It's hard to say. There is no beginning here, No edge, no direction, only motion, only softness. You drift effortlessly, not through space, but through thought, through memory, through places you've never seen but somehow know. The water carries you, not like a boat, not like a vessel, but like a feeling, a sensation that moves with you, through you, as you. The stars above remain, steady, watchful, calm. Their light reflects on the surface below, but it doesn't sparkle, it glows, like warmth you cannot touch but feel in the chest. A quiet echo of something remembered from before you even began. Beneath you, the river flows. It doesn't speak, it doesn't rush. It simply continues. And so do you. You float, you breathe, you remember nothing, and yet everything. There is no thought in your mind now, only space, only feeling, only the rhythm of moving slowly toward rest. Sometimes you catch fragments, the edge of a leaf, a breeze that sounds like a name, a shape of something golden just beneath the surface. But none of it asks for your attention. It simply joins you, travels beside you, until it fades again into the still water. You realize something. You're no longer trying to fall asleep. You're no longer thinking about your body, your breath, the garden, even the stars. You are only drifting, peacefully, effortlessly, as if the dream has already begun. Not with a story, but with silence. And beneath that silence, the river. You don't know how deep it is, or where it comes from, or where it goes. But none of that matters, because you are not here to ask. You are here to float, to trust. And the river never questions. It simply carries, just like sleep, just like night, just like the moments between your thoughts. You feel yourself descending, not downward, but deeper, into softness, into stillness, into something wider than any dream. And the river beneath you welcomes it all. It does not resist. It does not hold. It only flows. And you let go and flow with it. No sound, no words, just the motion of peace. And somewhere within that motion, sleep arrives fully. Not as a visitor, but as home. There is a moment just before you fall fully asleep, when you stop trying. Not because you give up, but because you don't need to hold on anymore. Thoughts slow, breath softens, edges blur, and the space between things grows wide and quiet. That moment is here. It greets you not with words, but with hush. A pause between heartbeats, a stillness too gentle to name. You are no longer following the story. You are no longer listening for meaning. You are simply being, softly, slowly, fully. Everything that once held your attention has grown quiet. Even the stars feel further away now, not lost, just no longer necessary. The garden that held you, the terrace that supported you, the air that whispered against your skin, they are all still there, but they are quieter now, fading into the background like a lullaby you heard long ago, whose melody still echoes even after you've forgotten the words. You lie there, not asleep, not awake, but in between, drifting. This is not movement through space, but through sensation, as if each cell in your body has become lighter, less defined, less required to do or be anything except rest. You don't need to try, you don't need to manage. There is nothing left to control. Only this moment, this breath, this gentle letting go. And you do. You let go. You don't fall. You float, not toward anything, not away from anything, just through it all. Like a leaf carried by invisible wind, or a feather adrift in a sky that has forgotten how to hurry. Your mind no longer needs to speak. It only listens. And even then, not with ears, but with presence. You may notice a flicker, a color behind your eyes, a sensation at the edge of your skin, a shape that almost feels familiar, but you don't reach for it. You don't need to understand it. You let it come, you let it go. Everything here knows how to float, even you. You've always known how. It's just that now, finally, you've remembered. And in that remembering, sleep deepens. It no longer stands at the threshold. It has stepped through. It is here. You are not being put to sleep. You are becoming it. Each breath is a wave, pulling you gently into deeper waters. No effort, no struggle, just surrender. You do not need to hold on. There is nothing to hold. You are safe. You are supported. You are drifting. And the night, in its endless wisdom, cradles you. Not as a guest, not as a visitor, but as its own. Somewhere, deep within the hush you've entered, something is beginning. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't rush in with shape or sound. It arrives like a bud, tight, hidden, wrapped in silence. You're no longer in the garden you remember, no longer under the stars you counted. Now you are elsewhere, a place not found by maps, but by feeling, by sleep, by softness. And in this place, dreams do not arrive fully formed. They bloom gently, slowly, like petals opening in a breathless dawn. You don't watch them unfold. You feel them as sensation, as color, as memory that isn't quite yours, yet somehow fits perfectly inside you. The ground here doesn't feel solid. It feels warm, alive, like it's listening to you even as you sleep. There are no paths here, no walls, only endless space woven with quiet beauty. Light moves differently now. It doesn't come from the sun or stars. It comes from inside the dream itself. A glow that doesn't shine but surrounds. The trees, if they are trees, don't have names. They have feelings. And as you drift past them, they offer you scents, memories, whispers of places you never visited but always knew. You are not alone. Though you see no one, the dream is with you. It hums gently like a lullaby made of light. You may sense laughter far off, or music without instruments, or faces that feel like home but never needed names. This is the space where your mind no longer asks questions, because it already holds the answers, not as thoughts but as peace. A bird, perhaps, glides above, or maybe it's just the shape of joy. You don't need to decide. Everything here is what it needs to be, without the weight of meaning. Even time feels softer, as if it's folded in on itself. You don't move forward. You simply bloom, just like the dream around you. Every breath you take here feels like permission to rest deeper, to trust more fully, to let your soul stretch beyond your name. Here nothing is forced. Not joy, not memory, not even hope. They rise on their own. They grow like blossoms in moonlight, quiet, unseen, but undeniably real. You might find yourself beside a river of light, or walking through a field made of dusk. You might hold something in your hand, a key, a feather, a star, though you never reached for it. Because dreams give you not what you want, but what you already carry. They just let you see it. And tonight, that vision is blooming. You drift further still, not away, but into the dream, into yourself, into the part of you that has always waited quietly beneath thought, beneath waking, beneath time, where softness reigns, where nothing must be earned, where you are whole simply by being. And as you move through this space, or let it move through you, one thing becomes clear. You are safe. You are loved. You are blooming right here in this dream that asks nothing of you but rest. Somewhere in the quiet folds of sleep, a memory has been waiting, not one you searched for, not one you chased, but one that waited patiently, just for this moment. It didn't knock, it didn't call your name, it simply sat in the warmth of your dream, like a candle you forgot you lit. Now it begins to glow, not with force, but with familiarity, like the scent of something you once loved, drifting into your senses without warning. At first you're not sure if it's real. It arrives as feeling, a softness behind your chest, a pulse beneath your ribs, a smile you didn't know you were making. And then an image forms. It may be a face or a room or a sky you once stared at for too long. It might be the sound of rain on an old roof or the creak of a wooden floor you haven't stepped on in years. But it finds you. This memory, this quiet visitor, was never gone. It was waiting beneath the noise, beneath the rush, beneath the days and decisions, waiting for you to slow down enough to come home to it. And now, you're here. You don't need to hold it. You don't need to name it. You only need to feel it. And you do. It wraps around you like a blanket warmed by time. It doesn't ask questions. It doesn't seek answers. It just is. Maybe it brings you comfort. Maybe it stirs a tear. But whatever it is, it's safe here. Because you are safe. This is your dream. And in dreams, memories are not judged. They are simply remembered. You drift deeper, carried by this gentle recall, a knowing that doesn't require thought, a recognition beyond words. You may hear a voice, not speaking, just echoing. You may feel a hand, not touching, just resting near. And in that closeness, you realize something. You didn't forget. You only tucked it away until your heart was quiet enough to hold it again. Sleep has given you that silence, that space, that return. You're not lost in the past. You're not trapped in a memory. You are visiting. And the memory, in its patient kindness, visits you too. Together you float in the soft middle between then and now. No time, no tension, only tenderness. And as the image begins to fade, not disappear, just soften, you feel gratitude for this reunion, for this pause, for this piece of yourself you got to greet again. The dream moves on, but it carries the warmth, the knowing, the peace, and you carry it too. Not as a weight, but as a glow. Something quiet that now lives a little closer to the surface. And as your breath deepens and your body relaxes even more, the memory returns to where it came from. Not because it is gone, but because it is yours again. Not hidden, not forgotten, just home. There is a place beyond dreams, beyond memory, beyond even the gentle flicker of thought. It doesn't live in words, it doesn't move with time, it simply is. And tonight you've reached it. You didn't travel there. You didn't follow a path. You simply let go enough to arrive. Here there is no sound. Not because it's empty, but because it's whole. Silence doesn't feel like nothing. It feels like everything finally at rest. Like the ocean after the last wave. Like the forest after the final leaf has settled. Like breath after exhale before the next begins. You rest there, not because you're tired, but because there is nowhere else you need to be. Nothing pulling, nothing pushing. Only the softness of presence. You are not thinking now. You are not remembering or imagining or wanting. You are simply held by stillness, by the rhythm beneath the world, by something older than fear, quieter than time, gentler than hope. This is the safe place in the silence. You've always known it, even if you forgot. even if the world covered it in noise and urgency and shoulds. But it was never gone. It waited. And now, as your breath slows even more, as your body grows weightless, as your mind softens into nothingness, it welcomes you, not as a visitor, as its own. Here there are no names, no beginnings, no endings, only being, and being is enough. You might feel something, not a touch, not a sound, just a warmth. Like the air itself has curled around you to remind you that you belong, that you are safe, that you always were. You don't need to stay awake to feel this. You don't need to understand. In fact, it's better if you don't. Let the silence do what words cannot. Let it soothe you, wrap you, dissolve the last edges of effort. Let it be the ground beneath your sleep. You're not falling now, you're not floating. You are simply resting in something that has no name but peace. And in this peace, everything softens. Your thoughts, your breath, your heartbeat, even your story. It all becomes just stillness, and stillness becomes everything. You are home, not in a place, but in a feeling, a knowing, a silence that holds you more completely than any sound ever could. You are no longer falling asleep. You have fallen, not downward, but inward, into something vast, quiet, and beautifully alive. And now, the night holds you, not like a container, not like a border, but like a mother holds a child who no longer needs to speak, like the sea holds the moonlight without ever asking why. You've drifted far through stories and stillness, through memory and wonder. You've passed through gardens of dream and places unnamed. And still, the night stays with you. It doesn't pull or push. It simply surrounds, like air, like breath, like belonging. There are no walls in this night, no ceiling to stop your breath from rising, no floor to catch your thoughts, only space, infinite software. And in this space, you are not watched, not judged, not needed. You are simply known, completely, quietly. Every breath you take here is met. Every silence you offer is answered, not with words, but with presence. There is no need to remember who you are, no need to prepare for who you'll be. The night asks nothing from you but to be here. Now inhale. The stars do not call your name, but they glow for you nonetheless. The trees do not know your story, but they rustle in time with your heartbeat. The wind does not care where you've been, but it wraps itself around your rest, like it was meant for this moment. And in all of this, you are held by the hush, by the dark that is not empty but full of grace, held by the rhythm of everything that doesn't need to be seen to be real. You may imagine arms around you, but they aren't necessary, because the night itself is holding you now, in its silence, in its patience, in its understanding that you are tired, not just in body, but in soul. And in this tiredness, you are not alone. Others are sleeping now under the same sky. Others are being held by this same night. And though you do not see them, you are with them, in breath, in quiet, in peace. The night doesn't separate, it gathers. It brings all things close, without touching, without speaking. Even your dreams now are not stories. They are feelings, movements of the spirit beneath the surface of sleep. You don't have to follow them. You don't have to make sense. You can simply float, like mist, like music, like the sound of your own calmness. And as you do, you'll notice something. You are not searching anymore. Not for sleep, not for meaning, not for peace. Because all of it, everything, is already here. In this moment, in this night, in you. So let yourself go. Not to be lost, but to be found by something that has no shape but comfort. Let your breath melt into the stillness. Let your thoughts sink into the softness. Let your body disappear into the arms of the dark that is not dark, but deep. You are safe. You are home. You are held. And the night, the quiet, endless night, will hold you until morning comes with new light. But for now, stay here. Stay soft. Stay silent. The night holds you, and it always will. The night has carried you far, through silence, through dream, through memories that rose and faded like mist. And now you rest in its deepest embrace. Everything is still. Everything is whole. But somewhere at the edge of the dark, a shift begins. It isn't light, not yet. It isn't sound. It isn't movement. It's only a feeling, a soft whisper in the stillness of the night, as though the world itself has taken one last deep breath and is holding it just before it sighs into dawn. You don't see the morning yet, but you feel it. The way the air carries a faint coolness, gentler than before. The way the silence seems to lean forward as if listening for something just about to arrive. The stars above remain, but their glow has softened. Not because they are fading, but because they know their watch is nearly done. The tree that held you all night long still stands tall above you. Its leaves no longer shimmer with sunlight, but with something subtler, a quiet, silvery reflection of what is to come. The garden, too, has grown stiller. No new sounds, no rustle of movement, only a hush that feels like waiting. But this waiting isn't heavy, it isn't urgent, it's tender. Like the pause between a heartbeat and the next. You remain where you are, cradled by cushions, sheltered by night, safe in the quiet that belongs only to this hour. And as you breathe, you notice how gentle everything has become. Your breath barely stirs your chest. Your body barely knows its own weight. Even your thoughts, once busy with stories and images, have grown soft and translucent, like mist dissolving at the edge of a river. This is the whisper before dawn. Not the light itself, but its promise. Not the day, but the breath before it begins. You don't need to move toward it. You don't need to reach for it. It will come whether you wait or not. But for now, you are here, suspended in the tenderest part of night, where silence is fullest and peace is most complete. The whisper doesn't speak in words, it speaks in presence, in the way the darkness feels lighter, in the way your heart feels calm, in the way you no longer search for sleep, because sleep has already claimed you. You are not being carried anymore. You are simply resting within the arms of something vast, timeless, and endlessly kind. And when the first thread of light finally comes, it will not disturb you. It will join you, softly, quietly, as part of the same hush that has held you all night long. For now, let yourself stay in this space, neither night nor day, neither waking nor dreaming, only being, only resting, only listening to the whisper before dawn. And now, as you lie here, held in the quiet warmth of the night's final hush, you've come to the end of our journey, but not to the end of your rest. This story may be complete, but the stillness it led you to, that remains. It belongs to you, always has. Let it stay with you as you drift deeper. Let it wrap around you like soft night air, cool and calming. There is nothing more to do, nowhere to go, no thought to follow, no sound to chase, just you, here, resting, breathing, being. We'll be here again when you need us. Another night, another journey. Until then, may your dreams be kind. May your body rest fully. May your heart stay light, and may the path you walk tomorrow begin with peace. Good night and sleep well.